Hello and welcome to this 19th session on obstacle game, and in this session we are going to create prefabs. We are going to understand the concept of prefabbing, and also we are going to finalize our entire obstacle game structure. So, to begin with, let us come back to Unity. Now we have created a few obstacles, and now let us rearrange it. Say for example, here I will create a new empty object and I am going to call this as environment, in which the entire all the major items I will arrange it here. So, I will just zoom this, make the scene area bigger. With Alt left mouse I will rotate it, and now what we are now going to do is we are going to add this floor to this environment. Then we are going to add this wall bottom, left, top and wall right. We are going to add it to the environment. So, that all these things comes under the environment. And then what we are now going to do is, in this environment, let us select one of the walls. Say for example, I select this left wall and I will press Ctrl D to duplicate it. So, after I duplicate it, I will now set its Y scale. I will increase the Y scale and make it bigger. So, something about 5, or I will make its Y scale to around 6, and I will move it along the Y axis and place it to the top like this. So, that we have placed it like this. Now, only thing is I want this to be slightly slant. So, I will select this wall left, I will rename this as ramp 1. I will give it the name as ramp 1, and I will take the rotate tool now, and I am now going to rotate it along, I will rotate it along the x axis, and I will rotate it by around minus 45 degree, and I am going to just drag this and place it here. Just it is, so I will come to the front view here, and I am going to just drag and place it so that you have this appearing as a ramp. So, you have this ramp like this. If required, I will make the Y value 7. I will make it little bigger, and I will just move it. I will take the move tool and I will just move it slightly to the top here, and I will adjust this as a ramp. So, that let us Alt left click, rotate, and see that this ramp is placed correctly. So, let us check this. So, if required, I will move it slightly to X like this. I will place it here. Okay. So, now this appears to be fine. Okay. Or I will just make this Y value, I will decrease it further and I will make it minus 60 degree. So, I will reduce that slope a little more, and I will move this and I will readjust the position. So, let us adjust this ramp correctly. So, we have created this ramp, and slightly move it to the bottom, and let us adjust it correctly. So, now if required, I will come to the top view and I will adjust this. I will move it and adjust it so that the ramp sits here. So, Alt left click, rotate and see it. So, this ramp appears to be fine. So, we have created this sloping ramp now, and what I need is I need one more ramp on the other side. So, for this I am now going to select this ramp, press Ctrl D to duplicate, press F2 and rename this as ramp 2, and now I am now going to rotate this. So, I will rotate it along the x axis by 270 degree. I will change it to 270 degree so that it is rotated on the other side. Now, I will drag it onto the other side here. If required, I will come to the top view and I will drag and adjust it correctly here, and if with Alt pressed, I will click left mouse and I will see that the ramps are adjusted correctly. So, I have 2 ramps placed over here. Now, after placing the ramp, I need some objects to drop from the top, and this time we want these objects to roll. So, for this what I will do is, I will close this environment and I will right click, and in 3D object I am going to create a sphere. So, and let us make this, so this sphere, I will come to top view and see the size of this sphere. Let us make it slightly smaller. I will enable this uniform scale and I will reduce the scale to 0.5, and for this I will press Alt left click, rotate and see this. So, now this is the actual sphere, and we are going to call this as rollers. I will press F2, I will select this, press F2, and I am going to call this as rollers. And this roller I want it to drop from top, and it has to drop on this. And for this roller also I will come to asset material, I will create a new material and I am going to call this material as roller material. And for this roller material I am going to add some different color, so that some light green color. I will apply this and I will drag this and apply it to the rollers. So, the rollers are green now. Now, these rollers I will come to top view and I want this roller to drop, and also I want this roller to be attached with the component rigid body, and also we are going to attach with the script object, that is object hit. So, this script will also be attached, so that now if I play the game, see when I play the game now, I will just play the game. Now, what happens is, see the roller falls and it rolls down like this, see it is rolling down. Only thing is you are seeing this white patch. So, I will stop it, I will come to this roller material and I will decrease the smoothness to around 0.2, so that we doesn't have that white patch. So, now I have, when I play the game, now what will happen is, when I start the game, the roller drops now and it is going to roll down like, and it will be rolling like this, okay, in the scene. So, I will stop the playback. Now, next is I will select this roller and I want to make some of the apart from the roller, I also want to, I will come back to scene here and want to create a start platform and end platform. So, for this, now what we are now going to do is, I will come here in the obstacle scene, right click, and in 3D object I will create a cube and I will set its cube width along to Z, I will set it to 2, along X 2, Z 2, and Y I make it something like 0.2, and I am going to take the move tool and I will move it and place it somewhere here. Now, with Alt left click I will just turn and I will move it and I will place it just above the floor like this. This is the starting point. I will come back to the top view and see that this is placed somewhere here. This is the start point, and for the start point I will select this cube, press F2, and I am going to call this as start, and the start is placed here. And for the start and finish, let us give a different material. So, I will right click here, create a new material, and I am going to call this as start finish material. And for the start finish material, I am now going to add some light pink color like this, and I am going to apply this to the start. I will select it, and for this I doesn't want any collision to happen. So, I will come to this box collider and I will remove this box collider component, so that no collision is applying on the start object. So, now I will press Alt left press, see the start is placed correctly here, I will see. Then I will press this start, press Ctrl D, I will press F2 and I am going to call this as end. Now, I will come to top view, I will drag this and place it at the other corner here. So, we have to move our player from here to here. So, I will select the player also, and in the initial position of the player I will drag it, and the initial position of the player will be over this start position. So, he will be on the start position here. So, this will be the initial position. So, with this said, now we are going to convert some of the items here into prefabs so that we can replicate and use it. So, for this I will come back to my assets, I will right click and create a new folder, call it as prefabs, and in this prefabs folder now, leaving the environment, all other items, say for example player, I will drag it into prefab and convert it into a prefab. I will select this obstacle, I will just press F2 and name it as just obstacle now, and I will just drag this obstacle and put it into the prefab. This spinner also I will press F2 and change it as only as spinner. I will drag this spinner and convert it into prefab. Then you have this dropper, we will convert this into prefab, and roller we are going to convert it into prefab, and the start and end I will drag it and put it into the environment. So, now we have done the setup and we have the one object placed in the scene. And now if I go to file, save this, and if I play the game, if I start playing the game, here I can just move this, and as I am moving you have different objects coming, and I can move it and I have to come and touch and come here to close the game. So, we have just built a rough structure. Now, next I will stop the game, and after we have made all these prefabs ready, what is a prefab? I just want to explain it to you. See, prefab means, now say for example, I want to use a particular object multiple times. Say for example, we have a player here and we create 5 levels, and in all the 5 levels if I want to use the same player, I can convert it into a prefab, and when I convert it into a prefab, whatever is in the scene, this object gets converted into a model which will be saved on your hard disk. Okay. So, now by converting it into prefab, it makes the game more optimized. Instead of duplicating items in the scene, if you are going to use a particular item repeatedly, it is always better to convert it into a prefab. So, now what we have done, we have converted our player, then our obstacle, our spinner and our roller into prefabs, and we are going to use multiple copies of it. Except player, the other components we are going to use multiple copies of it and place obstacles at different places in our next session. So, with this we are almost coming to the end of the game, and in the next session we will sit down and we will complete this game and we are going to publish it. So, let us meet in our last session, that is will be our next session on finalizing this obstacle race. Thank you.